Welcome to the Casual Experience.
Hello casuals, you're welcome to the Casual Experience Show, a show where we give you daily MMA updates and news. And on this episode, we'll be discussing 318 preview. I also have with me the editor-in-chief, Afrocombat, a sports media outlet based in Nigeria, Michael Oshosanya. You're welcome, bro.
Thank you. Hi, everyone.
Yeah.
It's good to be here.
It's good to have you here. And it's such an honor to have you here. We've been discussing, and you took your time to come from Lagos to come grace our podcast.
Anything for the sports.
Thank you. And we're going through. I and my producer, we're going through your blogs and going through your articles, and it's such a one in a million niche. I mean, coming from the African perspective, I've not seen any blog like that in Nigeria. What was the initiative? What was the thought behind
Okay,
this?
the thought behind it was that I had already started watching UFC I don't remember what year, but it was close to the COVID period, and it was even my co-founder who showed me AKO for the first time.
Yeah,
and it was something that I kind of liked. I had wanted to start an MMA blog, but there wasn't the time to do that. I have a 9-to-5 job.
Yeah.
It's no matter how much I was going to plan to do it. In the end, I was only able to write one article and put it on the blog. And then after some time, it was like, okay, this one has to get serious.
Yeah.
If it has to get serious, it's not going to be a one-man operation anymore. I have to get a writer. I have to get people that would do every other thing, social media, and a writer. Just for a start.
Yeah.
So. Well, that aside, it was also that I had also seen that even after watching the KO a couple times, it was as if nobody was telling the story of African fighters properly.
Yeah.
And if you look at Tapology, all you have is their record, right?
Yeah.
You don't know what's behind that record.
Yeah.
Okay, you see 4-0, 4-3, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But the numbers alone don't tell the story.
Yeah.
There needs to be someone who tells that story. And, as Africans, we have rarely told our own story. It's people from overseas that are trying to tell our own story, and well, they will tell it the way they see it. They will tell it from their own cultural perspective. But if we tell it from our own perspective, that's a better story. And so that was majorly the inspiration for me to do that.
Yeah. I was surprised because I've not seen a blog like that. The closest tweet I have seen is BJ Penn, and you know BJ Penn.
I know BJ Penn.
I mean, and he comparing both, and I'm sure yours is fairly new. I can say you're doing an incredible job.
Oh, thank you.
But what has your audience engagement been like?
The audience engagement has it hasn't been very consistent. On some weeks, depending on what happens that week, what stories you're telling. On some weeks, it's quite high. And I think the articles that we've had the major visitors on, have actually been for African athletes. So for each African athlete, we have a page that tells their profile, maybe when they started fighting and all of that.
Like a record keeping page?
Like a record keeping page, sort of like a Wikipedia for the article, yes, for the athlete rather. So, that's the ones for African fighters have been the ones that have received the most readership. And I think that's a good thing because it's telling the story of that fighter.
Yeah.
And if that is what most people who have come to our blog have gone to look for or have gone to read, then, for me, that's success to an extent.
Yeah, but on each of your article, I see that there's a space for a general comment, not like particularly where you can have an audience engagement on that post, which might bring more faces and more likability to that particular post. Or is there a form of engagement you are trying to involve towards?
Currently, as regards MMA, I think the blog space is still a difficult one to grow.
Yeah.
If it's like say Instagram, that's easier for you to just you get a lot of comments on Instagram.
Yeah.
Twitter is another one, but Twitter is also the next difficult thing to conquer.
Yeah.
And if you anytime you have an AKO event like that, we are always posting like highlights from the fight, because it is live stream. So take for example, UFC has a live event. As one person is being knocked out on the canvas, you go to Twitter, you'd see a video of it, right? A highlight of that. And we ensure to do that for AKO. But it appears that the engagement for AKO online, say like on Twitter, is still not there.
Yeah, even on their own interface.
Even on their own, it's still not there. So that's not the problem because MMA is still a new sport in Nigeria.
Yeah.
So for now, it's still a thankless endeavor.
Yeah.
So we are fine with that. But we hope to still be there when it becomes something that's rewarding.
Yeah.
And we're just not doing it for only the passion. Maybe down the line, it begins to pay us too.
Yes. And obviously, you had a foresight for the creation of this, before the creation of this. Eventually, how do you see this evolving towards the commercialization, towards more attracting more fan base, towards how do you see the channel of sport, the sport media outlet, your sport media outlet, how do you see it evolving?
Okay, beyond just telling the story, two things that we're also looking at doing would be like fighter management. And I'll give you one reason why we're looking at that.
Yeah.
One of the difficulties we've had is finding fighters to maybe interview them. And even when you write their story, you want them to look at it to ensure that you're not telling lies.
Yes.
Because, someone might base their perspective of that fighter on your own article.
Yeah.
And if the fighter thinks that you have represented them unfairly, that might be, an issue. Okay, you're looking for a fighter. Of recent, I think the last two AKOs, when they released the card, you'd usually see just the first name sometimes.
Yeah.
Assuming the fighter is Samuel, there's a million Samuels in Nigeria. Yeah. Where do I start to look for Samuel from? Okay, let's assume we now see the surname of the person and the first name. When you go to Instagram, you don't find that.
No.
You see maybe Killer Joe 998. Killer Joe 998 is not someone's government name, right?
Yeah.
But it's possible that maybe the person had only taken fighting as like a hobby, and for good reason the person found themselves in AKO. But now that you're fighting professionally, there are changes that should happen with the way you represent yourself. It shouldn't just be your nickname anymore.
Yeah.
At some point, maybe you get so big and there's a nickname that sticks by you. Yes, you could adopt that on your social media. But if I have seen maybe Samuel Ulugbega, when I start looking all around and I can't find Samuel Lugbenga, that's a problem. So one of the ways that we've been able to actually find fighters is, sometimes their friends would comment under that poster for their card, for their fight. Yeah. And then the person is like, at whatever.
Yes.
And then you know that, okay, this is the person that is supposed to fight.
Yeah.
And that's one part. On the other hand, it's that even when you chat some of them up, it's quite difficult to get responses. On one hand, maybe they might not be very active on that social media account.
Yeah.
So that's if the sport is actually going to progress, you can't have people or fighters that you're putting in the forefront. You can't have them hide themselves.
Yeah.
The other side would be that there's also the issue where I don't think the sport is progressing fast enough.
Yeah.
And I'll give you my reason.
In this part of the world?
In this part of the world.
Yeah.
In this part of the world. Yes, there's the economic side of it, because I believe that sometimes I think about the economics of AKO and think, are the people who are organizing these events, are they making any money at all?
Yeah.
To a large extent, I don't think they are.
Yeah.
Because, for Usman, it's more or less like a charity thing.
Yeah. It's just the face of it, though, actually.
Okay. Yeah. It's just the face of it, yeah. But whoever is putting money behind it, I don't think, from ticket sales, how much do you think they would make from ticket sales? It's not so much.
Yes.
And then, doing the video production of the event and all of that, it's majorly a thankless thing. So there's the economics of it. But on the other hand, it's that, some days ago, I and my co-founder were watching Habib versus, what's his name, Barboza.
Yeah.
This was before Habib was champion.
Yeah.
And in that fight, Habib beat Barboza very well for 3 rounds. Now, for someone who is just watching that fight for the first time, you would assume that Barboza is a terrible fighter.
Yeah.
Because of how well beaten he was.
Yeah.
But if you look at Barboza's record and see that, okay, he has fought other people and he has equally beaten them well.
Yeah.
Now, that would give credence to Habib's victory.
Win. Yeah.
But if a Nigerian fighter has 4 wins, 2 losses, 6 fights on his record. And you can't find two of his fights.
Yeah.
And the other 2 where he won, he beat those people terribly.
Yeah.
And his opponents, there are no records of their own other fights.
Yes.
It doesn't give credence to the skill of that fighter.
Yes.
So there is the part of, how about we look at if the money is there.
Yeah.
Organizing an MMA tournament.
Yeah.
Such that there's so many fights.
Yeah.
And that would help fighters to build their record. And that would also help the viewership of the sport. Because AKO could have 4 events in a year.
Yeah.
UFC has more. Obviously, they have more money.
Yeah.
EFC in South Africa has more. Obviously, they have more money.
Yeah.
But if we get to a point where there's so many events, right, it's easier for people to stay consistent with the sport.
Yeah.
If there's a fight this weekend, 2 weekends later, there's another one. 2 weekends later, there's another one. That's how we can build followership. Compare it to football.
Yeah.
There's a match every other day.
Yes.
But but then I understand what's making it very difficult. It's all these things are not free.
Yeah.
You would pay the fighters. In fact, I was thinking of what goes into organizing an MMA event. And I was thinking about health insurance for fighters.
Yeah.
Because even look at in boxing, there are people who have died in the ring in boxing.
Yeah.
There are people who did not die in the ring, but died at the hospital.
Yeah. Or got people that had permanent damage.
Permanent, those kind of things. 200,000 is not going to solve that.
No.
200,000, 500,000 is not going to solve that.
No.
So, you need proper health insurance for the people you are putting in the ring.
Yeah.
Should they sustain an injury in the ring, you need to have a way that you can take care of them and nurture them back to health. It could be as little as a bone fracture.
Yeah.
It could be as bad as bleeding in the brain.
Yeah.
You need to find a way to that you can be able to solve that. So by the time you look at all those things and put them together, you know that it's not necessarily an easy endeavor for anyone to take on.
So those are factors, and those are things that you consider in when the creation of your outlet, things you want to talk about, the health insurance, the record keeping of fighters, adequate things. And I one of the points I picked on when you were discussing that was the financial influence of it, and that's what's keeping a promotion like the UFC away from Africa. They don't think that there's no card they can bring up that they will ever break even.
Yes.
In an American community or American society, when they bring an event, I mean, what kind of event they want to bring, except an average audience is ready to put in $100 per ticket, and that's like 160K. Yeah. How many people? I mean, we have fight lovers. How many people can readily put that down for a ticket to watch a UFC event? Yeah,
that one is even very far. How about just even paying for the pay-per-view online? That's not an easy thing for most people to pay for.
You see the DSTV subscription, there are level of packages that you must have to even be able to watch, fights on your and this takes me to I see your passion churning out for mixed martial arts and the development and growth of it. But obviously for everyone individually, we have our individual fighters. We have fighters that we love. We have someone we are going to talk about Poirier and Max Holloway soon for the upcoming cards, and we're going to talk about a variety of fighters. Yeah, but for you, that your one of your job is to be able to analyze critically and objectively. How do you separate your objectivity with your passion when writing or giving out article?
If it comes to African athletes, I would say I don't necessarily have an emotional attachment to any of them.
Israel, Usman?
No, I'm talking of not the ones in the UFC.
Okay.
So the ones still fighting in the African continent. Okay. When it gets to outside the African continent, it's difficult.
Yeah.
When Izzy was supposed to fight Duplessis, I felt like it's an easy fight. He was going to beat Duplessis.
Yeah.
I did not watch it because I didn't want to be disappointed.
No.
Wake up in the morning and look at the results. Duplessis won by submission. How did that happen?
And then you have to write it down.
You have to write it down. You would not say because Izzy lost, you're not going to put anything.
The way it is.
You have to get the video of them submitting easy and put it on your social media platform. You would not say that I can't stomach it.
No.
You just have to.
Yeah.
So if you want to like, you keep the favorites aside and publish what you should publish. You keep your favorites aside. If it comes to analyzing them, just let's say before the fight, that's another difficult one. This one, it has already happened. You have no option than to accept it. But what of before the fight?
Yeah.
I'll give you an example. Holloway versus Gate G. Gate G happens to be my favorite fighter.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Reasons because he's a very violent person. So, analyzing it, you'd say, because you love Gate G, you would be like, Holloway is coming from featherweight to lightweight.
Yeah.
So he's probably at a slight disadvantage.
Yeah.
Gate G is a much more powerful puncher than he is.
Yeah.
So he's at a disadvantage there. And then you'd stop at that.
Yeah.
But if you were being objective, you would look at their previous fights and look at the technique that each of them possesses. And in that fight, it was very clear.
Yeah.
In fact, from the first to the last round, it was.
Yeah.
And again, because I love Gate G, at the last round when Holloway pointed to the center, I was like, maybe Gate G was going to win.
Yeah.
And he just knocked him out on the last second.
Well, it would have given you a very high crescendo to write on, like an anticlimax kind of in your write-up. Huh?
Yeah, it will, but you'll still be disappointed nevertheless.
Yeah,
you'll still be sad about it.
That's true. Yeah, and going forward, are there new features? Are there new additions that you're expecting your audience to watch out for in your blog? Like, I noticed there are much multimedia channels, like videos, like podcast clips in it. I see that you give kudos to where the article is being seen, maybe like from Bloody Elbow, CNN. Yeah, but similarly, is there anything like do you have any hope to add? Like, these are clips of our podcast. I'm not particular this thing as I'm just saying, like kind of multimedia video channels.
Yes, we hope to do that. Currently, we still run a small operation, so we want to maximize the maximize the cost.
Yeah.
So we want to make sure that whatever finance we're able to pull together, we use it to the best, because it's not easy paying salaries.
Yeah.
It's not easy paying salaries. I alone cannot do it. The co-founder alone cannot do it. We have to get people who would also do it. And do I say sort of, in fact, when you're looking for people who are going to do this kind of work for you, you run the risk of having to hire someone who probably doesn't know a lot about the sport.
Yeah.
And so you have to be patient with them. They need to learn the sport. They need to come to love it. Maybe not fully as much as you do, but love it enough to learn about it and use it in their work. So, apart from the blog, we are still hoping that, on the Twitter end of things, the Instagram is good to a large extent. We're hoping that on the Twitter end of it, the engagement increases a lot more, especially when AKO is happening. Yeah, it's sometimes disappointing when you post the highlight and then there's very few people who view it. Yeah. There's very few people who like it.
Do you collaborate with them?
With AKO? Yeah. No, we don't. So if you compare that to, let's say, UFC, where the same highlight, 10 people have posted it, another 10 people,
shared.
You just have to understand that the audience for this particular product is bigger than, way bigger than the audience for this particular product.
Man, for AKO to have been critical of them too, especially their promotions. Their production is fine, right? But their promotion is quite poor.
It is. And one thing that Dwight says still sort of annoys me is how late you know who is fighting on the card.
Yeah. We had Lois a couple of programs ago, and that was one of the things we were hitting on. Even the fighters, you don't see the card. They start putting it out a couple of days, one by one. Meanwhile, in UFC, you have or
You have it months ahead.
you can even
There
go,
might be changes,
Yes.
but you know that these people are fighting.
Yes, and then you can go to Topology or wherever you want to research the fighters to talk
see
about it. We don't even have time to glorify the fighters here.
At all.
Yeah, I mean, they tell you AKO is a week ahead, 2 weeks ahead, and we don't even know anything about the fighters fighting. We can't talk about them. We can't go research them. We can't even have a preview on them.
You can't interview them because 2 weeks before the card, they are training and they are getting like very ready for.
Yeah.
Most of them don't have the time to start talking with anybody around that time. Let's say 1 week before the thing, they're already doing weight cut or whatever the case may be.
Yes.
That's not the time that anyone wants
to talk. Yes.
wants to talk with you. So it's they are not doing the promotion. Okay, just release. Let us see who is fighting.
Yes.
Let other people do the promotion.
Yes.
That's one is another difficult thing.
Well, I'm sure the brasses of Make You are listening to us. I mean, this is a poignant case that we are raising, and they're just going to improve on it. But for your outlets, are you encouraging guest contribution? Just as you're saying that if someone that doesn't have the passion or someone that is not willing to learn doesn't indulge themselves in, they don't just get it. You can know how to write and have all the writing skill in the world. If you don't know what you're writing about or where you're supposed to point at, it's just. But do you entertain when you have guest writers or guest posts and you go through it, or you see that this person is such an akin person? Like for us, our show is casual experience.
Yeah.
We don't take the word casual lightly. Whatever derogatory term or whatever it is might mean, we don't see it that way. Because we just mean that whatever it is, everyone will always learn, and everyone will always still be a casual. No matter the knowledge of fight you know today,
Someone knows way more than you do.
Yes, and you still remain a casual. So that's the point of our own program. But for you, your outlets that involves deeply researching and trying not to try and make little mistakes as much as you need to make while putting out words.
Yeah.
Do you encourage someone that has just been noticing that this is, I could bring my talents into this, send an article and you just look through it and you are encouraged or you are amazed by what this person did? Is that an avenue that you're looking into?
Yes, we cannot say no to anyone who has something that they think should be on your blog. Even the newspapers, Punch and all of that, they have guest articles, editorials and all of that.
Yeah.
So if we ever got guest articles from someone, we would never ever say no to that. That person might have a perspective that we don't. On the other hand, too, let's say there's a fight coming up.
Yeah.
For example, Max and Dustin Poirier. One writer might have a perspective where they think Max is going to win.
Yeah.
And they will write and tell you why Max is going to win.
Yeah.
Some other writer might have a perspective of how they think Poirier is going to win.
Yeah.
Right. And that is like a good balance to have.
Yeah.
That is like a good balance to have. It's also when there are African fighters on the UFC card whenever that happens, we might have a bias and think that this African fighter is going to win.
Yeah.
We don't, I don't want to say that this person is going to lose. Yes, when they lose, it's disappointing.
Well, you don't clearly show your support.
I don't want to put it out.
No.
I don't want to put it out. So if I say that, or if we have two fighters who have opposing views on that particular fight, it's a good thing.
Yeah.
Two writers that's a good thing. For example, Kennedy Nzechukwu and Walker.
Chidi.
Yeah.
Okay, Chidi Babank to fought.
Chidi, yes. So if one person was like, Walker was going to win,
Yeah.
all good and fine, we'll put it there. If another person says Kennedy is going to win, all good and fine. It's not a bet. It's just opinions.
I read the article of Volker on your blog, and I was like, I could only imagine if it was Nzechukwu that won. How you would have glorified the hell out of him on it.
Like it's the best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
That's the highs in the UFC.
So, but how do people reach out, or how do audience, especially not everyone wants to watch. There are people that are keen readers and that's their go-to. Their bread is just. and I'm sure that's going to be that's one of your dreams, to be like the Daily Mail, Daily Mail of MMA combat sport in Africa, which I believe it's surmountable for you. Yeah. So your social media, what's your social media platform? Where are the go-tos for people to go to?
Okay, for our website, that's afrocombat.com. For Instagram, that's afro_combat. On X or Twitter, that's afro_combat. We also publish articles on Ireland, Afrocombat also, because there's a lot of Nigerian readers on Ireland.
Yeah, that's a massive place.
That's another place that we put up our articles.
Yeah, how is the interaction there?
The interaction hasn't necessarily been encouraging, but that's not the problem. Let's just keep putting it there.
I was even thinking you were going to say what I see them more. I see the Ireland audience more of toxic than so you don't want to bring everything negative to what you're doing. So that's why I asked that question.
No. There's nothing negative.
But are there MMA fans there?
We wouldn't know until we start getting the people commenting and all of that. We wouldn't know. But the fact is that there's a lot of Nigerians within Ireland. Yeah, it's not somewhere that you can ignore. Yeah, it's not somewhere you can ignore.
Yeah. And I can just, from our own end, casual experience, we can just continually encourage you and say you are doing a great job, Michael,
thank you.
And the team. And is there subscription to a newsletter on the blog?
No, we do not have a newsletter running yet. Yeah. That's something that's still in the works.
Those are
things that would eventually happen.
Yeah. And Fapas told me that you're an avid UFC fan, and then
I love the UFC.
Yeah, and that's one of our own better bread and butters here. We just, are you on our platform?
The YouTube, yeah.
No, not the YouTube, the WhatsApp group. Oh God, you would have seen it if you were there. You would have seen a whole lot of noise there, and then you know that, man, there are lots of people. That's what, and I think we just found the appropriate name for ourselves, the casual experience. So you would see different opinions, and then I'm sure when you are added to it, from every time your article is posted, our handlers also be putting it in the group just to boost up engagement. Yeah. Is where we grow hands in hands. Yes, I'm so happy to have you here, and I can tell you you're doing a great job. Let's dive into the card. Okay. 318. Max Holloway, Dustin Poirier. First of all, who's your favorite fighter among them?
That has to be Dustin Poirier.
Why? Because Max knocked out your favorite fighter. Because Max knocked out your Dustin. But Max, both of them have points to prove, right? Don't you think? Max on his own side is saying he's not going to get the record of being won 3 times by 2 different fighters. He's fought 3 times with Alex. Yeah. Now he's lost twice to Dustin. And this is Dustin's retirement party.
He wants to spoil the retirement party.
How do you see that playing out?
I think the most beautiful way that fight ends would be Dustin getting a guillotine submission on Max Holloway.
It's the guillotine that he's been trying to
He's been trying to get all this while. He finally gets it on Max Holloway. But let's assume that doesn't happen. I think, Max Holloway is a more motivated fighter in this case. Because, after losing to Ilia Topuria, the entire thing is that Ilia Topuria has kind of spoiled his hopes of getting a title at lightweight. Yeah. And now Topuria is the champion at lightweight. Yeah. So he's more motivated to defeat Poirier and eventually most likely fight Ilia Topuria.
Do you think they'll give him a title shot if he wins Dustin?
I think so. It depends on how he wins. Yeah. If it's like a back and forth 5 rounds, he's not made a statement, But if it's like some kind of devastating knockout of Dustin Poirier, maybe the way he knocked out Gate G, knocks out Poirier that way in maybe the first or second round. Yeah, that makes a very, very huge statement. Yeah. And then post-fight interview, definitely he should call out to Poirier. Yeah. Because that's the only way he gets the fight. Yeah.
Well, but in what world do you see Dustin in his UFC entire record? He's fought 30 times in the UFC. He's never lost a back-to-back fight. Mm-hmm. That's one. As you said, Max is more motivated. Dustin will always also want to go out on a loss in his own hometown. And for me, I feel Dustin is like the best. Is the best fighter in now in lightweight, never to have won an undisputed.
I feel like Dustin could also beat Poirier. I feel
I
Dustin
said that
could
too.
beat Poirier.
Don't you see a case where Dustin wins and then he still
refuses to retire?
Yes, that let me,
and then says, I want to fight
give me
Poirier.
one more title fight. Yeah.
It would be nice if he beats Poirier after that.
Yeah.
Like that would be like a perfect ending to his career.
Yeah.
That's if he decides to, retire at that point.
Yeah, but I feel the point at which he should have won the undisputed, he decided to. He gave up. He took money over glory. I mean, the two Conor McGregor fights. There was the first fight. He had a chance to fight for undisputed, and he chose to hold on to fight Conor.
Well, not every time do you get that kind of money, so I understand.
Yeah.
And then after fighting, it's quite difficult, in fact, for fighters to say, "Oh, I'm no longer fighting."
Yeah.
And so, if they want to get to the point where they say, "Oh, I'm no longer fighting," I think most of them in the end want to have a lot of money in the bank.
Yeah.
When Cerrone fought McGregor, there was no way he was going to beat McGregor.
Yeah. But he didn't pay Cerrone much. I don't think maybe it was due to his negotiating power. He said he still made 200k. It's 200k to show, not even just to show and not to win, just to show 200k for a Conor McGregor card. In main event, that when Conor heard that, it was like, man, whoever people around you who managing you, they did a bad job negotiating.
But then in the end, it's the money. Chandler had lost how many years because he was waiting for Conor?
Yeah, and he's still
it's
waiting.
The money.
He's still waiting.
He's still waiting. They want to fight at UFC White House.
Yes, now.
So not often do you get that kind of money. So I understand his decision at that point. In the end, maybe it paid well for him. But everyone, it's a bad thing to be the almost fighter, the person who almost got the belt.
Yes.
Who it's not a good one.
Yeah.
But I think he has an opportunity now. I don't know if that's going to pan out. But as they say, fortune favors the brave.
So who is going to be your pick if I'm putting you in the tight slot now? Who do you see winning?
Because who do I see winning?
People go after our picks here. I can tell you blatantly that there are people that, in fact, they wait till the end of the show just for our picks. So your picks, we pointed out to you at the review. When the episode is out, your picks will always show out. So who are you saying winning? Max, Dustin?
Poirier. I'll pick Poirier.
Yeah, I think Poirier too is just going. I feel regardless of the body mass Max has put up, he's still not as big as a big lightweight as other lightweight. Dustin still remains one of the biggest lightweights.
And you should not forget that Holloway is coming off a knockout loss.
Yes.
Holloway is coming off a knockout loss. Now, we might not, currently you cannot tell what the effect of that is going to be on him, because that's the first time he was knocked out.
Yeah.
Do I say is that not also the first time he was knocked down?
That's the first time he was knocked out.
Knocked out, but he has been finished before.
Yeah.
But knocked out, that was the first time he was knocked out. So we're yet to see what the effect of that is. Calvin Keita, who Holloway, do we say brutalized? You can see the effect on his fighting.
I was thinking I'm the only one that saw that. Can you see how
it's very hesitant?
How washed he was in the last fight?
He's very hesitant to throw. The strike differential is so large.
Yes, I was like, man, Max has beaten the hell out of this guy. He has beaten the courage out of
him.
We used to remember Calvin Keita as a very good jabber. He had that. Where does him and this guy train? There is a particular fighter too that throws a beautiful jab. They train from the same, whether it's hard knock something, gym, and they used to have great jabs.
Well, after
he just looked lost.
Even the previous fight before this one, there were times where he threw the jab and it was
countered.
No, it was landing.
Yeah,
but it wasn't consistent. When someone is knocked out, you don't want to be knocked out.
Yes, the second time.
You'll be so hesitant to through.
There is a consciousness to them.
There's a consciousnness to it. Calvin Keita is the Paulo Costa who is fighting in.
Yeah, he's the Komen. He's fighting Roman Kopylov. Yeah.
Paulo Costa is also gun shy nowadays.
But why do you think that is, since he's beating over this one or what? I just feel he's no more. Costa is not as focused
on the sports as he used to be.
Yes,
I think it's those two things. He's lost to Adesanya and him not because he's become the Twitter god of
Yes.
MMA.
Yeah.
So it's him not being focused on the sport, because the Costa who fought him, your Romero, is not the same one that fought Luke Rockhold. The difference is very, very clear.
Yeah.
And that was like, at the point, Romero was very, very, very dangerous. And for you to go toe-to-toe with Romero at that point in time,
It went 5 rounds, I think.
it was 3
rounds. Yeah. And they battered themselves.
very
pillar to
badly.
post.
So that's not the Romero that that's not the Costa that we have today. So I think a knockout really does something to fighters.
Yeah,
really does
I
something.
agree that there's a switch that they just don't want it to go off again.
It's difficult to be a fighter. I think there's something that a lot of people should realize. Back to that Edwin Barboza and Habib's fights.
Yeah,
The first round you are beating that bad.
yeah,
You'll be like, there's still 2 rounds. I'll
Yes.
come out, I will make a statement. The second round you are beating badly again.
yes.
If I was the fighter, I would tell them to end the fight, because there is no point continuing.
But who was beaten worse by Habib? Barboza or Michael Johnson?
I think Barboza's one worse. I think it was
Michael Johnson, he beat him to the point that like you have to give up. You have to give up. You know,
He was telling him,
he said, you know, I deserve this. You know, I deserve to fight for the title. You need to give up.
You know why
You
I
need to
think the
give up.
Barboza one was worst? Because, post-fight interview, Habib said he did not want to submit to Barboza.
Yeah.
I think he had just come off, like, whether he 1 year layoff or something like that. So he wanted to, like, beat him through the
Black
entire
and
3
blue,
rounds
yes.
to make a statement.
Okay.
So that's why I think that one was worse. Not many times do I watch a fight and I'm like, that's when I watched it again. I've, like, 2 or 3 times. Last time I watched
that
it,
was a beating. Yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah. And, well, Paulo Costa, Roman Kopylov, how do you see the fight playing out?
I'd give Roman Kopylov.
Yeah, I think we are on the same trajectory here. We are agreeing to both same thing. He's a 3-time Greco-Roman champion, and is in fact is grappling. I've been watching Paulo Costa's media updates recently, and he seems to be focused. He's been talking with so much determination and so much faith. He's been saying, God, God, God. I don't know what's turned in him recently. And I don't want to take away from his skill. I'm trying to look for that Paulo Costa that fought against Yoel Romero, as I said. But don't you just think Roman is too much for him? They are just giving him... I mean, look, the age differences is not that much. They are both the same age, 34. The rich Roman has longer reach than him. Their wins and losses are similar. Paulo Costa has 14 wins and 4 losses. Roman has 14 wins and 3 losses. But, the skill differentials.
Apart from the skills, it's still, the determination of the fighter. Yes, it's focused. And, it's almost like when the fighter has a fight and they're like, look at the way he's hitting the pads and all that. Yeah, Ben Askren looked good on the pads when he was supposed to fight Jake Paul?
Yeah, yes.
He looked very good on the pads.
Yeah.
But he was still knocked out terribly. You can argue maybe they arranged that fight, whether it was arranged or whatever the case may be. There was no way in heaven Ben Askren was going to beat Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But he looked very good on the pads. So, but it still did not make a difference, right?
Yeah.
The pads is not a human being. The pads doesn't have hands to throw back at you.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it would be nice if Costa has a comeback, but I have no faith in him at this point. He's lost since the Rockhold fight that he won. It wasn't like a really, really good fight for him.
Rockhold came out more of a star from that fight than especially when he rubbed him with his blood and he was just like you want to beat me, and I'll take some of my blood off you too.
There are so many fights I see, and it's clear that maybe they have opposite stances, and you're like, if it was Costa would have blasted the body kick by now.
Yes, and he used to have beautiful kicks there.
Beautiful kicks, beautiful body kicks.
Yes, I don't know.
But everything is gone.
And it just feels like in the UFC especially their promotion is just a continuous cycle of if you're not performing up to par, you get flooded off
put you on the
easily.
side, bring someone up.
Yes, and just takes a shout out to Ben Askren. He's a fighter at heart. I mean, I even just still read an article. The recent article on your blog was Masvidal. Yeah. Masvidal giving a shout out to Ben Askren, and you could just see like, man, There are guys that are fighters beyond being fighters.
Beyond
man.
being fighters. When I first heard it was pneumonia, I was like, okay, yeah, pneumonia. Maybe that's something someone comes out of, right?
Bro.
And then
lungs.
double lung transplant. Okay, you know, it's going to be a very difficult recovery, but it looks like it's what's the English prognosis is good.
Yes, but aside the recovery, when I was reading through the procedure of what it takes to go through a double lung surgery, I learned that for how long he lives, he's never going to be the same again.
He can't be the same.
He's going to continually be on medicine because the lungs are not his.
It's not
and
his.
it's not just one lungs, it's double lungs.
So the body will continually reject it.
Yes, the body will, and then you could just see the outpouring of even Dana White and him and Masvidal, I know they see face to face. We heard that he even contributed financially to that.
I think Dana White is quite good on that.
Yeah.
Especially most fighters who have gone through something like that, maybe some of difficulty, all of that, Dana White usually comes through for them. Most of them would usually say it after the fact. It's good that he doesn't also publicize it as much as everyone does.
He was forced to say that.
As much he was asked.
He was asked. Yes.
Was asked. As much as everyone doesn't like Dana White to some extent. I think on that end, he's quite a good person.
Yeah, and in fact, I'm just happy. I'm just happy that he at least he's been giving recent update. I mean, that's Ben Askren.
Yes.
He's been giving updates. And for someone, man, guys, you just have to. In everything you do in life, you just have to live the moment and live it to your
the fullest. You never know what day would be the last.
He said for him that has never taken a stick of cigarette in his life, he's never smoked in his life. I mean, there are some of our fathers here that have been smoking for 50-something years. Nothing to do their lungs.
Chief Chimney.
Yes.
Chief Chimney.
Nothing
is wrong with them.
Someone has never taken a stick of cigarette and then is
double lung replacement.
It just shows.
And he's lost a lot of weight.
Yeah.
Currently 147.
Yes. Ben Askren. I mean, it just shows the fickleness of life. And well, we just wish him the best.
All the best.
Yes. And to our favorite fighter that fights almost every 2 months. For every 2 months. I'm sure you already know what I'm talking about. Kevin Holland.
The trailblazer.
Yeah, the trailblazer. I'm sure. If they don't put anybody on that UFC White House, they're supposed to put him just for the fact of his entertaining factor. Yeah.
I particularly like the fact that he fights that often.
He doesn't get injured.
Well,
Kevin Holland doesn't seem to get injured.
Recently he hasn't been injured. And funny enough, this fight has been booked twice in the past.
Him and
Daniel Rodriguez.
Yeah, D-Rod. Yeah.
Yes, that's been booked in 2020 and 2022.
Okay, they were scheduled to fight before.
Yes. In one of them, Kevin Holland was actually injured.
Yeah.
And I think the 2022 one was one that was rescheduled.
Yeah.
2020 one, and Kevin Holland was injured. But the fact when someone fights that often, one of the things that you might be annoyed is the fact that the way he's fighting, he might not be able to get to fight for the title.
Yes, because I don't think that Baba wants to fight for the title.
I think he said it before that it's not so much.
He just wants to make. He just wants to make
a name for himself.
He's like the welterweight Derrick Lewis. But Lewis now is saying he wants to fight. He wants to go for a title again.
There was a point where I think it was almost possible for Derrick Lewis to fight for the title.
Yeah, he was ranked number 3 at the point when he fought DC. But I don't think he was prepared for that DC. He knows what DC was going to do to him, obviously.
Even after DC, when it was not sure who Ngannou was going to fight next.
Yes.
And all of that. So Derrick Lewis was also one name that people were mentioning, but I don't think there's anyone who doesn't like Derrick Lewis.
Yeah.
Because even before this fight, the previous fight, he lost the first 2 rounds, and his coaches told him to go and do what he knows how to do best, which is knock people out. And a few minutes into, he knocked the guy out.
Yeah.
So I think if you want to put your house, if you want to bet your house, Derrick Lewis is a safe bet.
It's like I can personally tell you, I testify to it that this last week it was the wrong person to bet
to bet against.
Because everybody that went after our picks, the only fight on our picks that ruined their tickets, and we have people that stake a lot, like in millions on our games. The ticket the game went a blast just on Derek Lewis. Just on Derek Lewis. I was not telling one of them that we should have just picked the fight not to go two rounds.
Distance, yeah.
Yes, that was more of a surer bet than picking against him.
In fact, Derek Lewis was like it was too early for Teixeira to fight him. Derek Lewis said that before.
Yeah.
You know, Teixeira had just one fight after Dana White.
Yeah, he said he's been fighting cab drivers. He said he's been fighting cab drivers in Brazil. That like the UFC should give him more of these cab drivers.
Yeah. Keep beating them up.
Yeah. But for, how do you see Kevin is 32 years old, D-Rod is 38. Yeah. And for the wear and tear that D-Rod has had,
even beyond the wear and tear, 6 years difference in your 30s is a significant one. If it was in their 20s, then that would have been different.
Are you one to consider age in fights too?
Yes.
I do that too a lot. So sometimes it works for me, sometimes it doesn't. And when it doesn't, I tend to hear the brunt of it. But I'm always like, age is always a factor.
Age is a very big factor. Look at Osealdo. Osealdo can compete with most of the people at his weight class. But the age is a problem.
Baba can't cut weight properly again.
He can't cut weight properly, and his cardio is already taking
gone. Yes,
he's still like a very, very good fighter at that weight class. But age has become, apart from age, mileage has taken its toll on Osealdo. So you cannot ignore age. You there's no way you can say, oh, because this person is your favorite fighter, despite the fact that the person is old. How many people like Glover Teixeira can win a title at 42?
Yeah,
almost no one.
Yes,
almost no one.
That was an outlier.
That was an outlier.
Yes,
and his next fight with Prohaska, which was very close.
Yeah,
it was something he almost won, but after that one, but he had made a name for himself. He had signed his name somewhere. Yeah. So I think that was good. But I don't think there's any other person. Maybe one day someone manufactures some things that you can inject into yourself, and at 42 you feel 18.
Yeah,
maybe at that time.
Well, the 18 seems to be for heavyweights. It seems to be minor. It doesn't seem to affect them. I mean, because theirs is more of power against. So I mean, the heavyweights they still tend to perform in their later age. But I mean, for the lower weight classes,
once your speed is gone,
yes,
and that is that's one thing I really like about Osealdo is that as the speed left, he compensated for it. His defense improved.
Yes,
despite the fact that as his speed went down, his defense improved. A lot of fighters do not compensate for that as they grow older.
And that skill.
You begin to lose some techniques, some things you can't do as good as you used to do them before. You have to find ways to compensate for it as you grow older. So a lot of fighters don't do that.
Yeah. See Cody Garbrandt. What is become now? Like I can't just believe it. One of my favorite fighters. I mean, apart from the wars and him being trained for particular fighters, and when he won, he just seemed to weather out.
I think his last very good fight was COVID.
Yeah,
where he knocked out Rafael Assunção.
Yes, Assunção.
That's like
that was right. Yeah, and talking about that, we have a fight in featherweight Dan 50k versus Patricio Pitbull.
Well, Pitbull, another gun shy person.
Yeah, are you saying that based on his first performance in the UFC?
It's 2 fights in a row now that he's been that way.
Okay. And
very gun shy. And the funny thing in this first fight was that when he moved forward, that's when he was able to make something happen.
Yes.
But he keeps moving back. It's something that sort of confuses me about fighters. I feel like once your back is on the cage, you've lost that fight.
Yes.
I just feel that way. And the thing is that there have been so many fights that reinforce that. When Adesanya lost his first fight against Poirier in the UFC, his back was against the cage. Yes. The second fight, he almost lost that.
But for most of them, it's always the threat of the takedown now. Especially when they have someone that, like, they have an opponent that is willing to take them down. I think they always want to use the cage as a form of defense than moving lateral.
And when you use the cage as a form of defense, I think more often than not, that's when the person doesn't have a submission threat.
Yes.
Because, like, Leon Edwards, Usman, I think the third fight, that was after he had collected the championship, right?
Yeah. The way his first defense.
His first defense against Usman. The way he usually stood up was using the cage and giving Usman his neck. or giving Usman his back.
Yes.
And that was because Usman, had not necessarily shown any submission threat.
Yes.
That's why he's able to do that. But, if you're fighting Volkanovski was killed by Poirier back against the cage.
Yeah.
Holloway,
Max, yes.
back against the cage.
Yes.
If you're fighting someone who's a very good striker,
That's
bad
where
idea.
Ilya shines, when you are against the cage.
Bad idea. Yes, you're moving, but at the point your back is going to turn the cage and you have nowhere to go again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a bad idea. Patricio Pitbull, I don't think
And I don't think he came to the UFC at the right time. And does this now show the elite level at which not even the top 15 alone in the UFC operate at?
But even those that are not ranked.
Yes, because you see them. Hardly do you see the only fighter that seems to be doing right from that comes from other promotion. He seems to be MVP.
Yeah, it seems to be only MVP.
I mean, Patricio isn't performing. Even this guy, this new guy, yes, Patchy Mix. See Patchy Mix also with all the old hype and everything coming from those. I don't know.
Even the only reason why Chandler keeps getting fights is because his fights are
entertaining. Yes.
If he did not have that going for him, he wasn't going to get.
But how long can Dana White hold entertaining? Now you've had 4 losses in your last 5 fights.
His kind of losses are different from Tony Ferguson's kind of losses. Entertaining losses.
Yes.
It was a capital letter L.
Yes. It's just like what Stephen Thompson is going through now. Dana White is saying, regardless of his losses, he still likes him and he still wants him to keep fighting.
And you can make an argument for Stephen Thompson because in the last fight, he did better than Bonfim.
Yes.
But then,
it was a split.
It was a split decision in favor of Bonfim. And... well, you can complain about the judges as much as because again, the judges mess up things. Even like Jose Aldo's last fight against Amen Zahabi, a lot of people felt Jose Aldo won.
Yeah.
But the judges gave it to Zahabi, and well, I'm not a fighter, so a lot of people will be like, "You've never been in the cage and all that."
Yeah.
But it's something that people say, don't leave the fight to the judges.
Yeah.
If I thought you leave it to the judges, but there should be a very it's very sure that.
Yeah.
But obviously, there have also been cases where it's very sure that this person has been beaten badly and they still gave the other person.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think one fight people would have really loved to see was Wonder Boy and MVP. But it looks that I think it looks like both of them don't want to.
Why? I don't think any of them said no.
Because of I don't remember where exactly if it was MVP or Wonder Boy who said that. Not like they don't want to fight, but they don't think it's going to be an entertaining fight.
Because it's striker against striker, counter striker against counter striker.
And it's very similar styles, similar karate styles that they fight with. Point fighting. So they don't think like 2-point fighters is something that people want to say, it's something that's going to be very entertaining.
But still, I made this point last week. I was still saying that just as a way like preparing makes fights, the way Dana White pairs prospects with their right matchups. If he was pairing old heads too with the right
matchups,
we will have entertaining fights.
They would go out well. You don't just pair them with people that just. So imagine when Wonder Boy fought Shafkat. There was no reason for him to fight Shafkat.
No, at all. No reason at all.
There was no reason for him to fight Shafkat. It was you know that Shafkat is going to. The submission threat was there.
Grapple him and dominate him.
When Gilbert Burns fought Wonder Boy. Most of the fight was on the ground.
Even the striker herself grappled him. This UK Irish guy, Iron Gary grappled him. He knows that I can't strike with this guy. But I still feel whatever they think. I feel the MVP Thompson fight is going to be a good fight. Regardless of their style, I feel that it's going to be just for fans that just likes fights.
And a fight doesn't have to be like super violent for it to be interesting.
Yes.
But when you see the exchange of techniques, if you understand the sport,
that this one has a better technique. He got him there. He got him there. Yes, now
they don't have to draw blood all over their face.
Yeah. And well, in fact, this has been one of my most entertaining pod. You didn't give your prediction on Danny Gay and Patricio.
Okay, Danny Gay and Patricio Pitbull. I'll still go with Danny Gay. I don't think Patricio Pitbull is going to do anything
because even if you try to take him down, Dan
He
holds
has,
himself.
he has good takedown defense too. So.
Yeah. On that fight, I don't
And
think.
again, this is a fight that Dan Hige is now having good amount of preparation for.
Yes.
His last 2 fights have been quite sudden.
Yes, they've been short notice.
The short notice fight, so he has good time to prepare for this one. So I think he's going to do better on this.
Yeah. Michael Johnson, Daniel Zeuba is fighting on the card. On the prelims, we also have Kyler Phillips, Marvin Vittori is fighting Brendan Allen, which is going to be a great fight. The early prelims, Bruno Ferreira is fighting Jackson McVie. It's just going to be a great day of fights. And as usual, guys, we always have our watch party for pay-per-views. And we will be having a different kind of sections where it will be Team Polar Costa versus Team Kopilov, Team Max Holloway versus Team Dusty Poirier. You just need to be there and show up. Michael will be around. You'll be going back to Lagos.
Yes, I will be.
And well, I'm sure your team, Yusuf will be around now, won't you? Yeah. And so I'm sure it's going to be a great fun time. And for viewers and listeners listening to us, please endeavor to follow Afrocombat pages all through social media. On our WhatsApp group too, whenever they have new articles, you'll be added to the group. You could be dropping it on a daily basis. We do that too. And guys, trust me, there are a lot of guys on our group that watch it. We have over 130 people on our. So it's just a large, growing community.
Yes, yeah.
And we can just hold ourselves hand in hand to grow. Thank you, Michael.
Yeah, thank you too
for coming, for gisting with us. It's been such a relaxing time with you.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for calling us here.
Yeah. You watch, kindly subscribe. We are doing great things here. And we'll catch you on the review show.
And tell your friends about it too.
Yes, and tell your friends about it. So, and on this episode, it's a wrap, y'all.
Welcome to the Casual Experience.